Pro Group Racing. Show us your tips. Daggy and Beaver with you to look towards Blue Diamond Stakes Day, cracking day of racing across Sydney and Melbourne, Beaver, which we'll get stuck into. How are you travelling, mate?
Travelling well, mate. What about you?
Good, good.
Yeah.
Good to see you in the flesh again.
Yes.
Got a bit of fun on
Right.
this afternoon. We've got our Supercoach draft going on, all sorts of stuff.
Bit of footy stuff, catch up, have a beer, have a laugh.
Sounds good. But,
And chat a bit of punting as well. Yeah, it's good racing on the weekends, some good horses going around, and plenty of winners, hopefully.
Definitely. You can catch our Canterbury and Moonee Valley thoughts. They're already up on YouTube and Spotify, so check them out, and as well as on progroopracing.com.au. Have a little flutter this evening as well. But we may as well kick off at Sandown.
Let's do that.
Where we've got a few group runs to get through. We're on the Lakeside track for the first time this autumn on a Saturday, which may be a bit We'll just wait and see if it's too leaderish running to start with. But we're in Lakeside there. I think races 5 and 6 are on Hillside, and then the Oakleigh Plate's out of the chute. So it's all happening at Sandown. Hopefully it doesn't have too much of an effect, but we'll watch and learn throughout the afternoon. We kick off on the good track with the Rail True with the stayers over the 2,100 metres, a listed race. The Victoria Gold Cup, Beaver. How are you starting the day?
Yeah, mates. Look, I think it's hard to probably go past the favourite here. Right you are. It's up and running. It's flying at the moment. Gets the right draw here. Nicely weighted. And, you know, a lot of these stayers are resuming here. So I'm banking on it having the fitness edge and just being too good for some of these.
I agree. Yep, on top for me. Clearly on top, actually. It'll roll forward. It'll control this race. And I don't know if there's too many chasers. And if they are, they're pretty much fresh up. So fit and firing on pace at Lakeside in the first is very easy for me to go to the favourite here in Right You Are. And that's about all I'll say about it. The second is the Group 2 Angus Amanasco Stakes, 1,400 metres for the 3-year-old fillies. Tricky little race, Beaver. What do you like here?
Yeah, this is a tricky little race here and hard to line up some of the form. The horse I've got on top, which I've just noticed since I did some of the form last night and this morning, Called Die, has tightened a little bit in the market here. Still $5.50, so it presents good value. I thought its maiden win at Randwick last start was pretty good. Sat on pace, too good for a horse that looks to have a bit of potential as well. And gets the right draw, right jockey. I think it can run well at the price.
I agree. I've got it on top as well. I've seen the last 2 weeks, the midweek Sydney form stack up to these Melbourne group races. And I'm going to go the same way. It's going to roll along on pace under Ollie. And I really like that resumption. I know it didn't bet a lot, but it looked very classy and comes to a 3-year-old fillies race where it's right in this. I've got it on top. And clearly I thought the top two can run a race here. She's lickety split and laced up heels. Both the distance, extra distance suits them both. And
I thought number 7,
Jenny Lala.
Jenny Lala can run well. I liked its first up run around the 20s. I think it's a one that you can certainly put in the exotics. Ran second, but it was bailed up on the fence at Moonee Valley and couldn't get out and held up. I think if it gets out a bit sooner, it probably wins that quite convincingly. So I reckon it's got a bit of ability.
Beauty. Gate 1 Craig Williams sometimes leaves me a little bit less enthusiastic. But
I think it's Sandown, but compared to Moonee Valley, as you say, they fan a bit there and can split up, so it could get the sit and run on there.
The mares come up next, 1,400 metres as well. For the older ones, we see some fresh up stuff here. And I was pretty keen on a couple here. I think Toragene, I know it's stepping up in grade a little bit from what it was coming through those bush races, but the trial was good. I think it's going to lead this race, more or less. I can't find a whole lot of other pace underneath it. And if it does, I think it runs well here off the back of those trials. And I think Barbara trials are great. Turns up fit and firing. It may well be the best horse and may well bolt this in, to be honest. But might be looking for a little bit further. I'm not sure where it's headed. I assume somewhere like one of those mares mile races down the road. But best horse might get best run. But specking Toragene gets all the favours on pace. What do you think?
Yeah, look, it's a tricky race. I think this is a really, really even field, and the market suggests that, the top 5 horses all between $4 and $5. So how the race is run is going to tell a lot. I'm going to stick with Espiona.
Okay.
I just think it'll be further improved by that first up run. It was only a length off them, even though it finished 6th. And again, it's got the Sydney form coming to Melbourne. natural improvements, goes okay second up, and I think if there's enough pace on here, it could sit and sprint and just get over the top of these. Doesn't have to go past too many.
All right. You can, if it doesn't
Last
win this, you
chance.
can get rid of it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's it.
But you can make a case for Forbidden City here. Like and I would have made a case for Larkspur Run too. So every horse is a chance.
Absolutely.
Very interesting race. The fourth is the Zedative Stakes up next, which is a Group 3 for the 3-year-olds over the 1,200 metres. And yet again, you can make a case for just about every horse in this race. I'm going to stick with Rich Fortune on top, though. It got out of trouble last time, and it's just very impressive when it did get out and hit the line. My first thoughts were to go right away from that lead up, but the more I watched it, the more I thought that was a pretty impressive win. It comes here, and you're getting around, what are we getting here? Around $5. It was $6 when I did the form. I think that's fair enough form, and I ended up having to put Spacewalk in as a chance. That was a nice win, sitting wide, and comes here, gets car, rolls forward, and is different form to that lead up. So always a good thing. I'll give even a horse like Sebanyak can run well here. I think Sebanyak did chase Remark last time out, and its 20s might be the one I'm looking at it for exotics. But again, a good race. What did you think?
Spacewalk on top for me. I really liked the last start win, and if you go through, since trialled well at Rosehill after that, beating Marzu, so that's a good trial form. Rennet ran third first up. That was behind Mia, which was a pretty good run, and then also won a trial slightly before that at Warwick Farm. So I think it's come up really well this preparation. And has improved a lot. So I think it's going to be super hard to beat. I think it gets the right run here from gate 2. But you're right, there's lots of other chances in here. And I thought Waltz on By at 20s again.
Yep.
Could run well fresh. It's got a bit of potential. Was good last prep. And if there's improvement there, is certainly in it in this field.
Yep. The fifth heads to the Hillside track. And we're over 1,800 metres, a Group 2 for the 3-year-olds here. I was a bit surprised Pericles came up favourite, to be honest, but it was a nice enough run. But I'm sticking with Mr. Maestro second up. Only got going real late in that race, and Pericles did beat at home, but I think it's the last 100 metres it was getting into top gear. I think straight to 18 suits. The gate suits first in. We know it can pause you up when it needs to on pace there, and hopefully can just lump in behind the speed and give you a good sight here. Out to the right distance now for Mr. Maestro. I think Swazero is the one I'm looking at a price. I know it's coming through much weaker stuff, but it's been impressive having its own way in front. And I think it and the Gay Horse both get control of this and roll forward. So one for the exotics, but I am going to go Mr. Maestro for the record from Pericles. And then there's a bit of a drop off. Like I said, I'm looking far away from that. What do you make of this?
Went for Mr. Maestro myself as well. Really liked the first up run. Thought it was good. Probably wasn't ready to win first up. But yeah, I thought it was an impressive run. And as you said, only wound up late and started to hit the line. So stepping out to the 1,800, it'll be more suited the further they go. And gate 3, I think it can posse up nicely as well. Hennessy Lad, consistent of late. Only out of the placings once when it was 4th and probably should have won that race. Was a good win last start. Probably had the right run and the right favours last start. I thought it might have kind of went past Acosta a bit easier than it did last start, but that doesn't matter. It still won. So I got it as the main danger.
Beautiful. The Peter Young Stakes, Group 2, Wait for Age, 1,800 metres is up next again on the Hillside track. The return of Gold Trip, the Melbourne Cup winner here. He has popped up favourite. Maybe surprisingly, maybe not, Beaver. What do you think?
Well...
Or are you going to tip your little mate down the bottom who I think gets a great run?
Which one's that?
Keats.
Yeah, I think Keats is a huge chance.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a really, really good chance at $10. And I certainly would be saving on it. I just think probably you look at this field and Gold Trip is clearly the best horse in this race. Hasn't won first up, but it's ran 5 out of 6 placings. So it does go quite well first up. Is the Cup winner, has Group 1 form. 1,800 first up, I think, is probably about right. So against probably horses that don't have the class and don't have the sprint that it has. So I had it on top. But Keats, could definitely bowl along and give them something in chase.
I've got Emissary on top. I've loved its trials back this time in. Both trials are fantastic. comes here and did win well fresh first time up last time, won the Heatherly impressively last time, gets a Cozy Barrier and Blake Shin, so they're all ticks. Going on top for me, Amanasco Gold Trip, you've made the case there. Didn't win it all till we got out to the Melbourne Cup distance last time. I remember kept running those flashing runs and being on for next time. But Emissary on top, and I have the danger as Keats. I think it just gets a perfect. There's no pace here at all apart from that. It's going to, it and Deny Knowledge are going to roll along on top of the pace there and gives you a great side here, Keats, I think, at double figures.
That was my concern about Emissary. It goes well first up, but it's probably going to be towards the back, so it probably wants enough pace. Gold Trip will probably sit a little bit closer. And it's going up to weight for age, right? So carrying the 59 on equal weights as Gold Trip.
Fair commentary.
Sort of, if you look at the Melbourne Cup, it's 6, 7, 8 kilos difference.
I just think it's a more brilliant horse. I'm just going to think it's got a fresh sprint. But obviously, we're both keen that they're the main two, and Keats goes in next best. The rest of these feel a little bit like they're making up the numbers to me, but we'll see. We'll see if Surefire can find anything. But pretty average first up. The feature is the Blue Diamond Stakes. Couple of $1 million up for grabs here for the 2-year-olds. First 2-year-old Group 1 of the year. Good little race, Beaver. How many chances do you think there are?
I think there's probably 5 really good chances, maybe 5 or 6 really good chances. Really hard to line them up here. I did like Brave Halo, but I was a bit concerned about the gate. 15 had me really
Given they
concerned.
went back last time from a cozier gate, I can't see them going forward from
definitely not going forward, which, maybe that helps. Maybe it gets the sit and sprint and gets dragged into the race and comes down the middle of the track. I've stuck with Barber on top. I just think it was a great first up win. It's got some natural improvement to take and gets a pretty good setup here. So I had Barber on top. Really concerned about Brave Halo. I won't be letting it get under my guard.
There's a lot of money for Brave Halo too. There must be an opinion of it.
Yeah, I think the first up run will have benefited from it. And I thought Exploring could run really well. The other blue runner. So I had it around the $13 as a major chance. So they were sort of the 3 I was going for.
I've got Barber on top. I thought it was a great return. I like the fact it can pretty much sit where it wants. I know it looks on paper to have gate 9, but that's middle of the field. We've seen it win in Sydney coming from just about last. We've seen it lead and run well, or sit on pace and run well. I just think it's really versatile. I think it was brave and strong last time, and I think it gets a right run under Jamie Carr. On top for me, I think the instructor can run your race here. It's going to lead.
Yep.
Both runs have been really good. It's going to be the one putting the pressure on and taking a few of these off the bit early. And I like the fact it's trialled. It actually went and trialled against Anavisto since and trialled quite well against the older horses. So around $10.
Does Barber tag it across?
I think so. So perfect. Lovely. Yep. And all the other blue colours going to Quaddy, Zulfikar, Exploring are both up and going. We'll get to your Quaddy later on. Am I giving else a bit of a sniff? Well, there are other options, but I think they're the main. Going to play around with Godolphin and Gay to do the job once again in the 2-year-old races. The next is the second of the Group 1, the weight for age 1,400 metres Futurity Stakes. We see Mr. Mozart and Law of Indices have come out, so we've got a 6-horse field. And sticking with Gay here, the lack of pace here, I think Alligator Blood can jump straight to the front and under Blake Shin have a lovely time out there bowling along. Trialled up well enough off that second trial and I think will probably hold on and win. I'm hoping Mr. Brightside rolls forward and is the main danger. It was a bit packed last time, only warmed up late. We've seen it lead and win races like this before. I think I'm just going with the map and saying those two will get their own way and have too good a sprint at the end. Obviously scared of I'm Thunderstruck, but last prep, it just took forever to wind up in some of these, and second up, it tends to be that little bit flat. But I'm going with Alligator Blood here. Let's finish on that. Beaver, I assume you're going to tip the favourite?
No, I'm going to stick with Alligator Blood as well, for exactly the same reason as you. There is no pace here, and it's just going to probably control it. I don't think Mr. Brightside will take it on. Alligator Blood's got the drawn inside it.
Yeah.
Will definitely want to lead. And then I'm Thunderstruck has to go past it. So, sit and sprint 1400. You're right. Is it given enough time to warm up here? I thought I'm Thunderstruck was pretty good last start, but it loomed up, but it just seemed to peter out on its run. I thought I was going to go past them, and the others kicked up on the inside because they had that right run and that pace.
And that's been the story of I'm Thunderstruck for
and
the
even
last 6 months.
Yeah, it has loomed up and just hasn't been able to get past the likes of Zaki and Anamoe and the likes, and even Alligator Blood. So I think I'm just going to go with that with the better price.
Cool. No, fair. All right. The next is the 1100 metre Group 1 Oakleigh Plate out of the chute start, I'm told here. And tell me which horse can't win this race, Beaver?
Probably anything that's 40s plus probably can't win.
Okay. Who do you like to win?
I like 3 horses here. I think, as you say, it's a great field, but I just kind of looked at 3 horses around the $10 mark, and I found it hard to split Star Patrol, Uncommon James, and Lofty Strike.
Mm-hmm.
They were the 3 I narrowed it down to, all around $10. I'm going to stick with Star Patrol.
Yep.
I really liked its first up run, thought it was outstanding there, 52 on its back, and it's just got the right draw. 8, Uncommon James I thought was good and probably just got to the front a little bit early last start. But then the 13 gate concerned me here of where it's going to get to sit in this pace race. It's probably going to be further back than what it wants to be. Which
there's going to be a lot of pace. This is going to be a fast race, as it always is.
As it always is. You've got I Am Me's going to go forward, Asaphora. Those courses are going to be pretty quick, and some of these others are just going to have to get back. And I think if Uncommon James is behind a horse like Lofty Strike, I don't know that it's got as good a finish. So that's why I had Lofty Strike in there. I thought its first up run was outstanding. It'll be further improved. 1100 at Sandown's right up its alley. So they were sort of the 3 that I did like. But hey, look, Chain of Lightning, perfectly drawn, perfectly weighted. You couldn't rule it out as well. I don't know about IME in this company. Gate 1.
It's had a few cozy runs, hasn't it?
It's had a few cozy runs. Obviously a good horse. And Asaphora is resuming. So we haven't seen it yet, this preparation in this company.
I love Asaphora. I think it's one of my favourite little mares going around, but I just think there's so much pace here. I'm looking for value. I'm looking for a knockout, and I might be mad. But I've got Mask Crusade on top.
You were going to say that.
It's gate 16. There's going to be a ton of pace. All he has to do is get right to the outside, come straight down the outside, and if the horse is still with us, which it potentially probably isn't, it has been a couple of years, straight to the outside, and hopefully can gobble these up if it produces its best. Has been hamstringed by some wet tracks, but it has been chasing Nature Strip and the like as part of that road trip. So at around the 30s, I'm going to give it one more chance from Rocking Horse. Again, same was saved from last week. Why didn't it run last week? Was there an issue? I don't know.
I think there was.
Okay.
I think
the trial before that alongside Nature Strip was good, and it's 30s, and I'll have something on Marine 1 at 30s. Yep. So all small bets, but looking for swoopers to come through and maybe nab one of these late. I like a lot of these horses as horses, and they just all meet a race that doesn't necessarily suit them all. So that's why I'll play it, and I'm going to be very interested for progretracing.com.au to see how you're going to play your quaddie, though.
Yeah, right. Thanks for that. The quaddie, first leg, race 6. I'm going number 1, Gold Trip, number 2, Emissary, and number 8, Keats. Second leg, race 7. I'm going number 1, Barber, number 5, Brave Halo, number 6, The Instructor, number 9, Exploring, number 11, Party for 2. The third leg, race 8, I'm going number 1, I'm Thunderstruck, number 2, Alligator Blood. And then to finish, the fourth leg, race 9, I'm going number 3, Masked Crusader. Number 9, Asaphora. Number 11, Chain of Lightning. Number 8, Uncommon James. Number 10, Lofty Strike. Number 15, Star Patrol.
If King of Sparta had drawn out, I would have been interested as well there. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, you can't have them all.
Exactly. Beauty. Cool. For progretracing.com.au, as I said, check them out. I'm going to make my best race 1, number 6, Right You Are. I think it'll win it to get us started off. And I'll make my value in the Blue Diamond, race 7, number 1, Barber. What do you think?
What do I think? I'm going my best bet, race 4, number 4, Spacewalk.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be super hard to beat. And my value bet comes up in race 9, number 15, Star Patrol.
Beautiful. We head to Randwick for another Group 1 meeting up there, as I just refreshed to see what the track looks like.
Soft 6.
Soft 6. I think it gets to good. It's a bit dark here now, but I don't think there's much more rain around.
Pretty warm.
And it's warm. Yeah, I think it'll dry. I think we get to a good track by the time it starts on with the rail heading out 3 metres. Standard Randwick should play well enough.
Yep.
We kick off with an 1,100 metre midway where I'm sticking with Mabel. I did like the way it won last time out, and I has to go to Randwick now, and started a big price, but hopefully can repeat that from that outside gate and around the $8 mark runs can give you a sight. And I had the stablemate, and I can't see if it's still in here. Sabrenko is still in, around 30s. Was in to run tonight. I'll check and see if it's still in, but I'm going to have something on it as well. I thought the form last preparation was good around Floating and Oakfield Arrow and the like, and Trolls have been good. So going to spec it. Small bets to start the day on a couple of stablemates. What do you make of this in a tricky race?
Yeah, not interested, mate.
Fair enough. Race 2, 1,100 metre highway. Can we get interested here?
Yeah, look, I think it's pretty hard to go past Mogo Magic here. It's only a couple of starts, but pretty good. It's first up at 1B7, then 1x4 at Wagga, and then it's 2 trials at Kembla. It was 1 by 4 lengths, and then seven lengths at Goulburn. No one's got near it in around these country provincial venues. So I think it's got to be the clear on top pick. Gate 10's probably going to speed across, hard to beat. And my mate Masara has the main danger.
Yep. I try and avoid these highways, but I'll be backing Mogo Magic. I think it'll win. It's a nice horse. Race 3 is Group 2, 1,200 metre Skyline Stakes for the boys, where I am going to look. It has come up short, but I think it's the starting point here. Shinzo, I liked its debut, chasing Red Resistance. We'll see Steel City, obviously, in the Blue Diamond. J-Mac on inside gate will sit closer, and I think 1,200 metres is right up its alley. Is going to run well here, and I'm going to stick with Rush Hour as well as a saver who won the Magics very well, as exclusively tipped by me, and has trialled well since away as well. Comes back here. 1 for Exotics isn't running. 1 mark, move on. So, yeah, for me, 8 from 1 in the Skyline. What do you think of this?
I'm surprised you've gone that way. I've gone Cornish.
Okay, yeah.
Like we just talked about a couple of horses here. It ran 3rd last start behind Barber,
Yep.
1 length, which we're tipping to win the Blue Diamond. So that was a pretty good run. And the start before that, it ran 2nd behind the Instructor,
Yep.
which we said was one of the other main dangers. So that form for me is pretty good. And it ran a 3rd behind Croatian Bell, which has ability. So I think this horse has the best form in the race. And at $8, that looks good to me. I'm not so sure about some of the form of some of the others. So clear on top for me and great value.
Beauty. I like it. I like it a lot. The 4th is at the benchmark 88, 2,000 metres. I'm going to go one more time with Almania. Now 3rd up, gets an inside gate, and Hugh Bowman back, who's been riding well over in Hong Kong. I think it's time now for it to run a race and around the $7 mark. Good each-way bet here. I think Almania from Glory Days, who I went back and interrogated, and both runs in Australia were good. I was surprised it's so short. I think you probably do get longer tomorrow, unless this is some sort of superstar we're not aware of, and other people are. But the horses that have beat are a bit of a question mark coming here. But let's be honest, this race is a bit of a question mark once you get past these first couple. So on top for me, predominantly Almania, Beaver.
Yeah, I thought Glory Days was way too short.
Yeah.
I know it won last start, but it ran,
Well, when I
only okay in the benchmark 78 at Warrnambool and
Yeah.
snuck home in a benchmark 78 at Sandown, like midweek quality. Yeah.
We did. I had a bit of opinion of some horses in that race, but when I sat down to do the form, I thought it would be sort of an $8 chance.
Yeah,
that
and
they
you,
would
you go and look at its form back in Island GB. Although in Group 1 races it was hundreds,
Yeah.
started hundreds and never, finished 13 lengths off them and 24 lengths off them, right? So it doesn't come here with overly exciting form. Hey, maybe it's better than, and it's thriving here. But I thought Almania myself could run well. I know it's third up here, and its first 2 runs have been pretty good. First up's over a mile, was long odds and finished a length and a half behind Jojo, and then went to Randwick over the 2000, was less than a couple of lengths off Irish Legend, which was a good run. Since trial was nice. Third up here, gets the right gate, could run well.
Lovely. In agreement there. The 5th is a 1400 metre Guy Walter Group 2 for the mares, for the older mares, where I am sticking with one of our little faves in Hope in Your Heart. Honest mare, real trier. Trials have been good coming back for this. Gets a nice gate where it can posse up with Tim Clark, who probably needs a bit of a redemption day after last weekend.
Oh, please.
and hopefully gets it here on top for me. There's not a lot here I want to talk about. I went looking for Yearning. I was a bit disappointed in the trial, to be honest, but I have had an opinion of the horse. And I think Larkspur Run improves back, was stuck back to the inside. It wasn't the place last time out and wasn't far off them. Race of a bit less pace is a chance as well. But I think for Hope in Your Heart, one of the better bets on the program.
Yeah, good little horse, Hope in Your Heart, and one of the horses I do like, but I'm not on it because Tim Clark is. And, mate, he couldn't ride the 3 best horses going around and get a win out of one of them last week. So, for me, forget it.
Fair.
Not going there. I'm going for Mirror Vision.
Yep.
Goes really well fresh, won 3 out of 6 fresh. And when last in work was racing in really good company, right? Ran in Group 1, 2, 3 races. So in a Group 1, it finished less than half a length behind Ice Bath. Only a couple of lengths off Chain of Lightning in a Group 2 down at Caulfield. And then in the Group 3, just missed in Rose Hill. So I think it can run really well first up. 1400 suits. Snowden will have this ready. And at the $4, I think it presents a nice bet.
Cool. And just to confirm, we're both done with Norwegian Bliss after last start.
Yeah.
The 6th is the Sweet Embrace 1200 metre Group 2 comes up next for the 2-year-old fillies. You're across the Queensland form. This is a nice horse, isn't it, Skirt the Law?
Yeah, it is a nice horse, and I think this is a nice race for it coming to Sydney for the first time. The form around the horses that it's racing is not outstanding. It won really well last start, $2.50. I think is a pretty fair price. This, and if it's got any ability, it'll beat these.
Yeah, on top for me, clearly a nice horse, and I think it's a live slipper chance. Hopefully,
absolutely
proves me right here.
Well, we'll get a good guide tomorrow.
Definitely, I might be mad, but I had the dangerous Porter Rosso out to 1200 off a reasonable debut. Inside gate for Neesham there, but and is around 40s. But I think Skirt the Law will be winning this. The quaddie kicks off with the Group 1 Surround Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies. This could be a very short quaddie tomorrow, but we're going to start with In Secret on top, obviously. Good horse. Nice win. First up, gets Bowman on now. Gets the right run. And clearly on top for me, I am scared of Zugotcha, who has trialled well and is a nice horse too. Might be every bit as good a horse. I think She's a Belter improves. Had to sit outside lead first up there. And I think Cinderella Days runs you a brave race again from that lead up. But, yeah, looking at it that way, what did you think?
Only 2 chances here, which the market suggests. In Secret for me, it's just up and going and gets the right draw here, gate 4, compared to Zugotcha in the 11s. So In Secret probably sits around 1 out, 1 back, pretty close to what it did last time.
Yep.
And we'll go past them at the 250, 200, and Zugotcha's probably going to have to run it down. So In Secret on top for me. Zugotcha is a very good horse, and we'll need the luck in running, but that shows in the odds.
The other feature on the card is the Chipping Norton Stakes over the mile, weight for age Group 1, where we see the champion step out again, Anamoe, defending Cox Plate champion. He meets the same field he beat up last time. I think he beats him up again and keeps going on to the Queen Elizabeth. Do we have to spend much time on this one?
Don't have to spend too much time on this one. I think probably fairly similar run race to last time and probably a fairly similar outcome.
Cool. The 9th is the Liverpool City Cup, a Group 3 over 1,300 metres. What did you like, Beaver? Fresh?
Yeah. Oh, look, I went looking around this and kind of couldn't find really much down in the market. I came back to think about it. Whenever I went looking for something else, I just kept coming back here and going, this horse is just flying at the moment, everything that's put in front of it. I didn't tip it last start, and I wasn't quite sure if it was up to the mark, but it was outstanding last start.
Yeah.
It could have won by more. It was a perfectly run race, and it done everything right. Gate 2 is probably perfect again. Can just sit off the fence or sit behind the pace wherever it wants to. Well weighted, and yeah, Gravina's a horse that I can't really catch. It'll run a nice race, and Quantico was good, but think about it for me.
I've got Quantico on top, reluctantly. It was a nice return. I think we saw what we wanted to see out of it, back to its best. And I think its best is borderline group, well, at least a Group 3 horse. Probably better. I think it runs well here from Think About It, who keeps jumping through hoops, as you said. Possibly its best win last time out. And Gravina's the only other one, as you said, I'll mention just because it did finish along the line there. Gets J-Mac and had to duck and weave against Quantico first up, and probably gives it a race again. 3 key hopes, but that's the order I've gone in. We finish with a 1,200 metre benchmark 88. Good race to finish the day. You tell me which horse can't win this one as well. This is another tricky one. I am going to stick with Colino, who just had too big a job last time out chasing Spacewalk, who, as you said, though, you're giving a good chance to down south. Inside gate, J-Mac, hopefully it can get enough clear air. It produces that nice sprint we know it has. On top for me from St. Bathans, who was saved from Melbourne last week to resume here. And I think last time out ran really well fresh down at Sandown, and fits in here. I assume it's got bigger goals down the line, but one worth a spec for me. There's plenty of other chances, likes of Easy Single and the like. But what do you like?
I narrowed it down to 2. I went around Colino. I just thought some of these other horses presented a better chance. I've got Never Talk on top.
Okay.
So it gets a 2 kilo claim here. I think it can run really well first up. Does have good first up form, and it will get back. So you want to make sure that they can run on here at Randwick. But it's got the best finish in this race. So if there's enough pace on here, I'll be looking for it to fly down the outside. And I couldn't go past Sonora. It's only got 50 kilos on the back.
They will think it's a good thing in this race because they're claiming under the minimum.
Yeah.
So
it's got 10 kilos on Colino, and it goes forward. It'll sit on the pace, and its form's really, really good. So I thought it could be super hard to beat. It's going to probably sit just behind the leaders. Again, it came up from Melbourne, which is a bit of a question mark sometimes, but it ran a nice win in the 78 last, stepping up in class here, but 10 kilos pulling off a lot of these horses. So, hard to beat.
Beautiful. Let's see what I can do for a Randwick quaddie. I'm going to go in the first leg. 1 In Secret, 3 Zoo Gotcha, 5 She's a Belter, 9 Cinderella Days. Anamoe 1 out in the second leg. Third leg, 5 Quantico, 6 Zabark, who's trialled quite well, 7 Gravina, 10 Think About It, and come home with 1 Never Talk, 2 Colino, 3 Easy Single, 9 St. Bathans, and 16 Sonora. For progretracing.com.au, my best is race 8, number 1, Anamoe. My value, race 1, number 8, Sabrenko. On a tricky day for me to really find one at odds. It hopefully can run us a race at 30s. What do you think?
Yeah, race 9, number 10, Think About It, is my best on the day. Super hard to beat. And my value's race 3, number 3, Cornish.
Beautiful. I've got $100 to spend before we look at New Zealand, Queensland going up instead of the other way. I'm going to go after you struck out last week with your multi.
Yeah, terrible.
Going to have $25 on Emissary in Melbourne, $25 on Barber. We probably should do this off. I'll do it off the fixed prices I'm looking at now.
Yep.
In terms of calcs, unless some corporate wants to throw lots of money at us to mention them. $25 on Hope in Your Heart, $15 on Almania, and $10 on Masked Crusader, just for something to do in the last there. What do you got for us in Queensland?
Yeah, Queensland, an interesting day and a tricky little day. So I've got a few that are around the $5 mark here. So hopefully we can at least, if we get one of them, we'll be flying. Race 3, number 9, Zabalenka. Was a good first up win and can run a nice race here. Race 5, number 6, Regal Pom, about the $4.50 mark. Think it's going to go well first up. Race 7, number 14, Stella Magic, around the $5 mark. Think it's going to run a nice race. And to finish off in the last, I've got number 9, race 9, number 20, Rathlin, at the $5 mark.
Lovely. Couple will link up at Morfettville just to put some icing on the cake. Race 1, number 7, En Francais. Race 2, number 6, Fillies. And race 7, number 3, Jean Valjean. Should all get the job done over there. That's it. Let's show us your tips. Good punting this weekend, guys. Good to see you, Beaver. Looking forward to kicking back this evening and having a laugh. And hopefully everyone has a bit of luck on the weekend. Good punting, and we'll talk next week. Catch ya.